Good morning, Raptors Freak. Alexiot's here. How are y'all doing this morning, Raptor Freaks? Yeah, Wednesday. Still in Florida. Just wanted to come on today for a little quick Wildcard Wednesday. Talk about Gabe Brown. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in the last month, and so we've been real busy and stuff like that. I haven't really feel like we focused on the Gabe Brown Exhibit 10 signing enough. That it really is an interesting move. Like some people are really high on Jarrett Culver and they're talking a lot about him and the possibilities of him joining the Raptors and possibly being a good contributor to the team. But I'm more excited about Gabe Brown, and it really does have a lot to do with his highlights from Rico Hines. He just looks like I really look at his shot mechanics, like from the outside. Now, this is a guy who shot 40% for three at Michigan State. This is a guy who is a good 3-point shooter. In fact, he kind of in some ways could be kind of like Otto Porter Jr. That we've got an older vet that kind of does this role already, but Gabe Brown kind of can also duplicate some of this as a younger guy also. Like his frame 6'8" with a nice long wingspan is really built for our 6'9" vision and also defensive reasons, defensive things that he can do for a team. Like when I see him in Rico Hines, he's catching his assignments. He's a very active defender with very nice long arms and getting in there and deflections and getting in there and trying to crash the boards and get rebounds and stuff like that. The guy's partly an energy guy, and he's also a guy who has a 3-point shot. And those two kind of things are two things that we really covet and want on the Raptors, especially the shooting. Now, the defense stuff is just mandatory. And the fact that he has the right frame and the right kind of energy for that really gives him a leg up in the future with this organization. That the combination of his frame with his work ethic and his energy will get him far on this team. Now, this year he'll be Exhibit 10. He'll probably mostly only be on the 905. But I seriously think there's something about Gabe Brown that tells me that he could worm his way on to the main roster over the next couple of years and become a very solid rotational player for the Raptors. There's just something about him. And one of the things is, and this is very common among our Raptors, that these guys play for something. These guys play for somebody. Pascal plays for his dad. Fred has people he plays for. Scotty has people he probably plays for, and that gives him more motivation. Well, Gabe Brown has that kind of motivation. His father died in 2016, and he was raised by his brother, and it really hit him hard, his father's death. And it really lit a fire under him to be as good as he could be in his memory and stuff like that. You can't mess with those kind of motivations with players. That is a kind of a great characteristic that we look for in a player is, do they have a chip on their shoulder like Fred VanVleet? Somebody who's been told and labeled too small all along. He's like, well, I put that chip on my shoulder and give me more to fight against and overcome. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That if there's a fight in a spirit and something where a level where he just really cares, then he'll fit in with the Raptors, because you do have to really care about winning. You do have to really care about getting a Larry O'Brien championship to be on the Raptors at this point. If you're just here to hang out and be in the NBA and mess around, you're going to get sussed out and you're going to get going out of here. You cannot be coasted to be on the Raptors. And that may have been part of what happened with our bench last year. These guys were not working at the same level as other guys. And that, you can't get away with that. You have to be expanding your game and getting better all the time. Tom Duke, good morning. Good to see my good friend, BC Raptor Freak, Tom Duke. What's going on, Tom? Gabe sure does seem like a Raptors roster player. Good morning, Alexi. Good morning, Tom. Very good to see you. Yeah, he seems like a good fit. I mean, it doesn't hurt for me personally that he's got this orange hair right now. And like I said, Dennis Rodman is one of my favorite players of all time. And seeing him kind of having threads of kind of looking like him and maybe different things like that. Hey, I favor this guy. Now, Jarrett Culver is a very similar kind of player in this situation, and we could say a lot of the same things that I just said about Gabe Brown about him. that he has a nice, good, big frame. He is a highly touted college player that has a real resume and interesting stuff. But once again, there's nothing official. There's no official signing of Jared Culver. Scotty said on his Twitch, he thought that he's already signed. He's like, yeah, he's at Rico Hines is wearing Raptor stuff. I'm pretty sure he's signed. That's what Scotty said, but he may be wrong. He may be wrong that it hasn't actually officially happened because we have not heard anything official about Jared Culver. Well, with Svi getting waived this week, maybe we do now. Maybe the Exhibit 10 for Jared Culver will be coming through, and he'll be officially one of the 20 guys in our training camp this fall. So, that speculation is either him or Jalen Harris. So we'll have to see who the Raptors decide. Jalen Harris has waited a long time to get reinstated. He's kind of, he was at Rico Hines in the last week working with the Raptors, and that really kind of shows something that maybe they are really giving him a good try and a good look to still try and be in the NBA and be on the Raptors. So it could be they waive Svi and it's Jalen Harris. That's what a lot of news outlets are saying is going to happen. But I'm not sure. It could be either him or Culver. And it may be that they are looking at both of them and they're going to have to decide between the two of them as far as who will come in and get Svi's open spot going in the season. Let's see. Monique is here. Good to see you. The super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning, everyone. How are the courts in Florida, where you are? Basketball in Tallahassee isn't super big. It is really a football town. This is a college football town, and people love football. And a lot of the kids like to play baseball and stuff like that. But there were courts and things, places that I went to as a youngster and played a lot. I played a lot. There was a place on Gain Street here in Tallahassee near Doak Campbell Stadium where the Florida State Seminoles play football called Mama's Pizza. And this guy named Pete owned it and ran it. And it was basically like a bunch of warehouses in a row. And in one warehouse, he had the pizza place where he made pizza and sold it out the window. And then in another warehouse, he had a full court basketball court inside. And we would go there, my friends and I, and we would do runs just like Rico Hines for like 8 hours all day long. We go in there and we just start playing and play pickup basketball for like 8 hours straight. This is when I was in my early 20s. And I loved it. I loved that running up and down, that feeling of exhaustion afterwards. Just so much fun running and getting up and down the court playing basketball and stuff. And it was a weird group of people that I played with, some hippies from around Tallahassee, some just cool dudes. Different. It was a mix of all kinds of different people. But it was a lot of fun. And I miss those days a lot of times. It was probably one of the times in my life I was in my best shape because I literally ran basketball probably 5 days a week for like 6 to 8 hours every day. Yeah, I was playing that much in my early 20s. It was a lot of fun at that time too. G saying Demolition Man looks good. Don't mess around with the Demolition Man. The Demolition Man. Hey. Yeah, sing some Sting this morning. All right, Naco the Nacho. I think I'm highest on Wancho as opposed to Harrison Brown based on NBA experience. Rico Hines got me excited about Koloko. Look out, NACO. Yeah. Koloko excitement is very high right now. In fact, the latest clips make it even more crazy. It seems like if you just put the ball at a certain height anywhere near the basket, Koloko's going to get it and put it in the hoop. And it's everybody's throwing them for him now. We've seen Fred do it. We've seen different other Raptors do it, but it seems like everybody can lob to him. We've seen Precious do it. Pascal, everybody's lobbing to him. And he's such a great lob target. And I love his on the board stuff. Like his offensive rebounding has been really good as far as cleaning bad shots up. It's like Pascal will take a shot, and he's been so money at Rico Hines this summer. And Pascal's not missing much, but if he misses a little bit, all of a sudden there's Koloko. And one of the things I love about his rebounding is a lot of big men get lazy. They're above everybody else, and they just, I can get it with one hand, stuff like that. No, he's fundamentally really good a rebounder. He brings it up and grabs it with two hands and brings it down. That is such an important skill as a rebounder in this league, especially for a tall, skinny guy who's not as strong as he should be going into the league. He's going to get stronger and work on the weights and be stronger, but that is really tough because you bring that ball down and you bring it down and you half-ass it, it's just getting knocked up out of your hands and stuff like that. So you really want to fundamentally rebound smart with 2 hands on the ball. You put 2 hands on the ball and bring it down to your chest and protect it. Because there's all kinds of guards in this league now, people like Fred VanVleet, who love to strip the ball right away. Just come over and pow, pow, try and hit it out of your hands. And Koloko needs to watch out for that because he could be a suspect for that. Like he could get people who will come and strip the ball from him in his current state of shape and stuff like that. He'll get stronger, and then maybe they won't be able to do that. But I really love the way he fundamentally rebounds, is what I'm saying right now. Also, what Nako's saying there, he's highest on Wancho as opposed to Harris and Brown. Gabe on NBA experience. I'm with you on this. I'm completely with you on this. Now, the subject for today is Gabe Brown, but I don't think Gabe Brown's going to make the team. I think that he will be one of the 3 people that gets cut, but that's already because he's already set up with the 905 route. We already know he's going to be primarily a 905 player. This is what Exhibit 10 means. It's like kind of like, you're Exhibit 10. That means we want you to be involved in our team, but it's more likely you're going the G League route. But that it kind of paints it easy for them, and they knows what to work with. But I mean, he does have an outside shot if he's absolutely so overwhelmingly good in training camp in the preseason. They're like, man, we got to play Gabe Brown on the Rain Raptors, but that's really unlikely. And I'm with Nako. I like Wancho. I like Wancho because of the wingspan and the height and stuff like that, and the NBA experience, like Wancho's, like Nako's saying, is invaluable in some ways. Like we don't want to be as young as we were last year. We were one of the youngest teams in the NBA, and this summer, one of the things we've increased is our veteran age. Our average age has gone up with Otto Porter being around, and if we get guys like DJ Wilson and Wancho Hernangomez who have like 4 or 5 years under their belts, they go into that average also. So it raises everything. We had a lot of rookies last year and a lot of 2-way players, a lot of 3-way players and stuff like that. Well, I'm 3-year players, sorry. 2-year players, 3-year players, you know what I mean. And so our average age without Goran was incredibly low. It was really close to Oklahoma City's. So for me to feel good about the Raptors being a championship contender, I want that age to rise up. I want that average age to go up because that is true. To get deep in the playoffs, sometimes you do have to have a higher average age on your team. You look at teams like Miami and Golden State. Those are teams that have a lot of vets, a lot of older players on it. And that was one thing I didn't like how much we lacked last year. Like I include Fred and Pascal as vets, even though they are not really technically. They're like really middle-aged players in the middle of their career. So it's kind of it's deceiving. We have more experience than our average age, but it doesn't hurt to actually have that real experience and real average age go up. And that to me is a symbol of us getting closer to getting to the Larry O'Brien level of getting the championship and stuff like that. So, all right, let me see. Yeah. So I'm with you, Nako, on Wancho. And once again, the way I would do it is I would keep the tall guys and, people like Gabe Brown, whoever the mystery man that comes in for Svi spot, and Justin, just because he's been hurt, I haven't seen anything from him and stuff like that, that makes it hard for me to want to keep him over somebody like DJ Wilson, who DJ Wilson has looked so good at Rico Hines. Seriously, his offense has been great. And we need more shooters. We need more effective offensive players. DJ Wilson is the guy we need to get and stuff like that. Tom Duke saying, how true of a representation of reality are there these Rico Hines videos? They're your highlights. I'm all for joining the Bo Cruz fan club. This is a really good question by Tom Duke. That Rico Hines, we can see this, we can see all this impressive stuff, but is it the same kind of defensive pressure and intensity at the NBA level? Is it the same kind of settings? How much should we read into all this? Well, for me, the things that are important about Rico Hines that you can really translate and take from to the NBA season is conditioning. Is how hard do they work? How much are they looking good getting up and down the court? Do they look tired? Do they look like they're like, because some of the clips we're seeing from like 4 or 5 hours into them running around and playing hard. And you want to see them look like their shot is not tired. Like they're not getting to a point where they're so tired that their shot is looking weak or different things like that. And we're not seeing any of that. So the conditioning of running up and down the court at Rico Hines all August with a lot of these Raptors. It's like some guys have been there every single clip, like Pascal. You've seen Jeff Doughton in almost every single clip, Koloko almost in every single clip. This is only going to serve them. This is a conditioning thing. This is a thing where these guys are already primed and ready with their motor to go up and down the court and stuff. Now, besides that, Rico Hines offers a plethora of really top tier talent. Whether you got 1 week you got James Harden, 1 week you got Steph Curry and Trae Young. And that's what I'm saying. That in itself mixes into it also because there's learning experiences. Like, Koloko's getting his first shot at playing against Draymond Green. He learned some stuff, a little bit of stuff ahead of time before he actually gets into real NBA stuff. So there's different really good things. But to me, this is what I'm saying. If you look at the mechanics of how they shoot, how good the shot looks, like whether it's Gary Trent Jr. or Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, you look at how good they're shooting. You look how good they're getting up and down the court. And, hey, it doesn't hurt to see some highlight lobs and dunks and things like that. So I think you're right, Tom, that you can't put too much weight into Rico Hines in real NBA terms, but in some ways you can. And for the young guys like Ron Harper Jr., Jeff Doughton Jr., and Koloko, this is a great first test. It kind of helps them with their jitters of being rookies and coming into the league. Well, I've already played against James Harden this summer at Rico Hines and stuff like that. So there's a confidence builder for the young players also, because they're getting a little appetizer before the season and they know a little bit more the level and the strength and the speed of the players that they're going to play against. Of course, training camp and preseason just add to that. So that's the kind of stuff that kind of helps from Rico Hines. But it is true. You can't completely translate, oh, well, they just did this in Rico Hines. They're going to be doing this in the regular season. But I think what Paul George said is true, that they've gotten primed and warmed up the engine. And that, this is good. Paul George is right. This team should start strong and hot right away because of the good synergy and time accrued already in August. And we haven't even started training camp. It's crazy. It is crazy. It is awesome. All right, let's see. Monique saying discussion on Hernangomez comments on Spain. Yeah, all right. I did see this, Monique, so I will comment on this. Juancho said recently in the last couple of days that Spain is in a transition period as a national team. And this is true. They've had guys like the Gasol brothers retire. I don't think Jose Calderon's playing for them anymore. So there's a lot of old guard Spanish players that have been a huge cornerstones of the Spanish national team for decades. Like the Gasol brothers being involved in the Spanish team has been a very much a stable thing for so long, and now they're gone. So Spain's power as a team and the international scene is not as strong as it was like 4 years ago or 3 years ago and stuff like that. So they're going through a transition period. It's just like an NBA franchise where you go through a really high period and then guys retire. It's like the Spurs kind of right now. So Juancho was just saying that he understands as his team is in a transition period and they're not going to win as much or be as good as Spain has been in the recent decades because of their really good players. A lot of them have just retired and stuff. So yeah, that's what he was saying basically. That temper your expectations for his team Spain, that Sergio Scarione is doing the best he can with the young players on Spain's team coming up to take the place of people like the Gasol. So the Hernangomez brothers need to take over for the Gasol brothers, is what he's saying. Nameless is saying Gabe Brown is a serious upgrade over Svi. Yeah, I would agree with this. Like, listen, I don't want to malign Svi too much. We have to be realistic and real. He missed his shots last year and stuff like that. But still, I want to do something nice for him. On Saturday, we're going to do the Share Love Club for Svi Mahalik. Just because, listen, man, I feel bad for this dude. I don't care about basketball when it comes to Svi anymore. I'm not going to dump on him or anything. I care about his country and I care about the war that's going on there. That's the first thing I'm going to think about with him. And I want to give him the respect and love that somebody that, has a really close tie to a country like Ukraine needs right now in times of crisis and war. So that's why I want to give him the love and respect, like Scotty would give him the love and respect, because he needs it. He needs it. This is a dark time. He's had a really bad year and stuff like that. So it's things like that. But yeah, I like Gabe Brown. I think this is great. I think Masai and Bobby are being really smart about how the people they're bringing in and who they're letting go and stuff like that. We're getting kind of what we hoped for at the end of the season. We weren't pleased with our bench, and certain bench guys are on other teams or not on our team anymore. Specifically, Yuta Watanabe and Svi. So, and it's too bad. We like both of them, but they're not a part of our scheme of things. They don't fit with the Raptors. They just don't fit with our team, is what it is, really. So let's see. G saying not one starter on the Raptors was over 30 last year. Yeah, not a single starter. So it really makes you wonder how big this window of how good we can be over the next few years is going to be and how long this can happen. This is really, really good. There's an article out recently talking about how the Raptors really are in a really admirable position within the NBA because they've got such a young, great core. They're two top leaders, already NBA champions. Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet are not 30 yet, like G's saying. And also, we haven't sacrificed any of our first round picks and stuff like that in the upcoming years. So it's kind of like we're in a really admirable position to do a lot of things and have a lot of flexibility and leeway to go in all kinds of different directions. Whether it's having such a plethora of great young athletes on our team right now, where we will have to probably make some tough decisions with money in the years to come, that is a good problem to have. We want everybody to be as successful as possible and get as much money as they want. It's just that we want to be able to retain the ones we want to pick and choose and keep on the team with us and stuff like that. So the Raptors are really set up good. And this is for the long term because we are young and we've got a lot of these dudes under contract for the next 2 years. So we can really maneuver and keep it around. And I love the way they tinkered around the main core last year. What do we have? Otto Porter all of a sudden on our team. We have new people like Gabe Brown and possibly Jarrett Culver and stuff like that hanging around, stuff like that. So it's really, really smart and perfect drafting of Koloko. Perfect drafting. All right, let's see. Nameless is saying last season we have the fifth youngest starting core, I believe. Yeah, that makes sense. And the fact that they are already very much successful, that they win at a high clip already, really says something. That listen, some of these players that have come into the NBA have a certain winning percentage with them when they play, just when they step on the court. You see Kawhi Leonard specifically. You think about somebody like Tim Duncan. What percentage of games did Tim Duncan win in his whole entire career? It was like 70 to 80% of the games that he played in. He won when he played in the NBA. And Kawhi's the same way. He's like 75% of the games he plays in his whole career, he wins. Well, I have a feeling that Scotty Barnes could be this kind of guy that has a personal winning percentage to his career where he wins like 70 to 80% of his games in his career because of that kind of like impact as an all-around kind of important player that really cares and is very capable and stuff and can be very overpowering. So I really fully expect, I want Scotty to join this club. I'm going to call it the 70% club. And that means winning 70% of the time. And that is very much following the footsteps of Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Monique's saying, so it looks like Canada will be in Brazil. Yeah, they're announcing there's a couple more games coming up in November. Nick Nurse won't be coaching because he'll be busy with Raptor stuff by then. So I believe Nate Bjorngren will be down there coaching Team Canada for us instead. And I think you posted that Delano's going to be on that team and involved in it. We'll have to see how they do it. Like, it's so weird. They have the different levels of how good the Canada team is coming in. Like, we miss SGA and Nickel for the game against Panama this week. But we have such a badass team that Pango steps up, that we have levels of guys that come up and step in and do things like Zach Edey and the Scrubs and stuff like that. So I'm excited for every Team Canada game going forward. I really want to pay attention to this and get behind the steam going into the Olympics coming up in 2024. I want Team Canada medal. I don't just want them to qualify. That's a big deal because they don't always qualify for the Olympics. I want them to medal because I really, really think they can and they should, and they need to make a statement as a program on the global stage for Team Canada. And I think they will. I really do think they will. I think we've got the firepower. We've got the right coach. We've got the right direction overall at the head of Team Canada right now and doing things the right way to build towards winning medals at the Olympics. And that's what we want to do. Oh, yeah, Canada, get a basketball medal. this next Olympics. Let's do it. Let's go. All right, let's see. Nameless saying DJ Wilson has to make this squad. Yeah. I like DJ Wilson just because we worry about our offense. We're good on defense. We are real good on defense. But on offense, we need more pop. We need more guys that can fill it up. And DJ Wilson can do this. He can do stuff near the basket. He has some turnarounds. He has a mid range. He has a 3-point shot. He's active. Now, his defense isn't the best, but we can cover him up. And at least he's a big, long body who can be active and be disruptive and stuff like that. So he's not a total fail on defense. He's not the best defender, but he can be active and big. And that is enough in the Raptors scheme of things and stuff like that. So I'm with Nameless. I want DJ Wilson. I want those garlic parmesan DJ Wilson wings on the roster menu for this year. Oh, yeah. What's up, Kilimanjaro? Good to see you. Yeah, man. All right, let's see. Nameless also saying Canada is becoming really good considering the population. Yeah, it's interesting. We have a huge country, but we have a very small population in relation to land mass of where we are. We do not have a lot of people in Canada. So the pool of talent to dip in to get players from isn't always the same as other places. I mean, but come on, at least we're not Estonia or other countries that are very, very small. We even smaller pools to get players from and stuff like that. We're in good shape. The Carter effect has been very strong and lasting. And it's been only reinforced by Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and then a championship in 2019. And now Scotty Barnes is coming in, and there's going to be just waves and waves upon young kids that got into basketball because of people like Scotty Barnes and Kyle Lowry and Vince Carter. So the Carter effect is continuing to happen, and the waves are kind of coming from other guys since. But Carter started it in the very beginning and stuff like that. It is really good. And the areas of the country where they come from really is Toronto and Montreal. There is a little bit of ballers from BC, but not as much. But we could see, who knows, maybe because of the championship, it's more across Canada that we see an effect, like a championship effect. Like the Carter effect may have been more centered around Toronto because there was the Vancouver team still at that time. And it was more compartmentalized. Toronto was more Eastern Canada basketball and Vancouver is Western. And now that it's the whole country and we won the championship, maybe this will have a championship effect across the whole country of Canada, where we see the Maritimes, we see the Prairies, and we see BC bringing in more players somehow, some way, because they got inspired, because they won the championship and stuff like that. Click saying, I fuck about Gabe. I forgot about Gabe. I think I forget about Gabe. I'm not sure. I don't know all the acronyms, but he got called out for his lack of effort. Oh yeah. Yeah, there was one, it was Draymond. Draymond called him out because they're Michigan State alumni together and stuff like that. And these guys are getting called out. They're not going to be perfect. And this is the learning stage for young players that are just trying to make the NBA, like Jeff Doughton Jr. and Gabe Brown. They've been called out for a couple of things on Rico Hines. This is good. This is good. Because that means that hopefully they'll listen and they'll learn, and they're getting these lessons out of the way now, instead of like later on in the season or training camp, stuff like that. So I just love the shot. Like seriously, Gabe Brown's shot is so pretty with the mechanics. He just gets a good like straight elevation, and he's a nice cylinder of the shot. And then the way the arc and the way the ball spins off his hand and goes, and it doesn't hit the rim or anything. It just goes right through the net. That is a good shooter. And that's what I like. I like that he may be a very dependable three-point shooter. And we can't, that'll very much help. We have Otto Porter Jr. We have another guy that's just like him. He's younger coming up. That's what I'm saying. I really do think Gabe Brown in some ways is a lot like Otto Porter Jr. So, all right, let's see. Monique's saying that Drake and LeBron equals AC Milan. Explain, please. I don't know about this story. What are Drake and LeBron doing with AC Milan? That's interesting. I have no idea. I haven't seen this story. I am very busy right now. I'm not doing the regular research that I get to do right now for content and stuff, just because I'm moving. I'm moving all this stuff here at my parents' house to help them move out of their house here and stuff. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of that again today and stuff. And it's humid here. Ain't no joke. You running in and out of the house with that humid Tallahassee heat. Woo! I'm just glad I got my swimsuit on. I'm gonna go jump in the pool after I'm done. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But yeah, I'm not up on everything right now just because I've been really busy. Nameless is saying the Raptors are going to start the season at a level that most teams won't be able to match until January. I like this. I like what Nameless is saying here because I think it's true. Like Paul George said, he expects this team to be ready. It's like you get the engine on the motorcycle before you take off. You got to rev it a little bit. And then you go. And I think that Nameless is right. That like this may be kind of the opposite of what happened to us last year. That Pascal was hurt, Kem was hurt. There were different problems. Chris Boucher was hurt, and we weren't healthy going into the season. And there was a really kind of an orientation period for people like Precious and Scotty, Justin Champagny and Delano, that they were new and they had to learn the NBA and stuff. Well, that's not going to be like this. Like we can really hit the ground running. And that's really badass. And this really may, like we've said a couple times this summer, this may really impact our record this season. That our record could have been so much even better last year just because of the slow start in the 500 ball. We had to play for a couple months, really until January. So yeah, I love this what Nameless is saying, and I think this is true. That we're priming that engine at Rico Hines, priming that engine in the training camp and in preseason, and that hopefully we'll look really sharp and really ready to go right away and stuff like that. And yeah, it could be that we're already at the January level we were at last year right away. And because there's a lot of cohesion and carryover from last year. Like this is the same team basically. We just retooled the bench. And these guys are used to playing with each other. Obviously, they've been playing together all month at Rico Hines. It's crazy. Let's see. Click saying all these players can fill it up, but the issue is consistency. Wilson in summer league was inconsistent with his shot. That's true. He didn't look good every game in summer league. It was up and down. But once again, if he has the potential to be a really good offensive player and he can score at the NBA level, we've seen him do this. It's just the kind of thing where you try him out, and maybe if he's not working that night, well, he doesn't play anymore. So it's that kind of thing with him. It's a similar kind of thing to Gary. If Gary's on and he's making a shot and he looks real good, he'll play a lot. And now DJ Wilson, that maybe we just try him out for a little bit, and if he's a fail, then he doesn't play for the rest of the game. We have so many guys. It's just that he's another in case break emergency kind of big that can score. And I like that look because it's a little bit different than any of the other looks from the other guys that are in the 20-man roster going in the season. That DJ Wilson is a little bit different than everybody else. There's something just a little bit different than him. He's not like Chris Boucher completely. He's not like Koloko. He's not like OG or any of those other guys. He does things a little bit different. And I like that. I want that. I want a different look, is what it is, and stuff like that. But I agree with you. He was inconsistent in summer league, but you treat that with benching and stuff like that. Some nights he'll have it, some nights he won't. Monique's saying, in years from now, where would you put Scotty in Toronto Raptors Rushmore? All right, all right. In my top 4 all-time Raptors, it'll be tough for him to break in there, but I think he will eventually do it. It's the kind of thing that's like, man, I really, obviously Kyle and DeMar have to be there. And I'm not big on putting Vince and Kawhi or Chris Bosh on there. I know that everybody stays, they should be the other 2 spots, one of those 3 guys, those 2 of those 3 guys. But I don't want to. I'd rather right now, my top 4 Raptors right now are basically Lowry, DeRozan, Siakam, and Van Vliet. And I mean, those are my top 4. And that's really because of championships and just dedication. Like DeMar just gets it just for being such a badass. And I love him. Now, if he's going to come in, though, whose spot is he going to take? It's going to be really tough. He's going to have to make his own Raptors legacy and bump one of these guys out of there. It could possibly be either Siakam or Fred. But it'd be really tough to bump Kyle or DeMar. Even DeMar, even though he hasn't won a championship, I just have so much value. It puts so much into what he did for our franchise and stuff like that. But that's an interesting question, Monique, and stuff like that. David is here. Good to see you, David. Wait, isn't he sideways when he shoots? I mean, I agree he bangs him, but I wouldn't exactly say his form is great, is it? It's not. Are you meaning he leans sometimes? Well, the shots I saw where he came up straight and he would just shoot like a textbook shot. Like it looked like he really much has the shooting fundamentals. He does not look like Scotty when he showed up last year. Though Scotty didn't have good fundamentals shooting last summer. He changed that already and got really good in a year. Now Gabe, he has good shooting fundamentals. Like it's the rotation, it's the height of the arc, it's the way it goes through the net. It's really how it comes off his hand too. His other hand, his offhand. That all goes into like the really good mechanics of the fundamental good shooting. Now there may be some clips where he shot an off balance shot or something like that, but I just remember seeing it. The reason why I think it's so consistent is because it consistently goes in and it looks the same. That's the thing I'm talking about. It's like some guys will shoot a shot and it'll go in and look like 10 different ways each time they shoot it. That's what I'm saying. Gabe Brown's shooting it a very certain way, and it looks like carbon copies of each time he shots. That's an indicator of a shooter that's very consistent. Like Jeff Dowden's looked very consistent in that way also in the Rico Hines. So it's really about that, David. That's what I mean with it. But he may be shooting some off play. I don't know. I don't remember those as much. Nameless is saying Gabe is a high energy player. I wouldn't read too much into what Draymond said. Yeah, it was really what Draymond said was if you're not running as hard as Fred and Pascal, how do you expect to make this league? If these guys are the top guys on your team, you need to be doing just as much as them and stuff like that. Like these are guys that got bags. This is like somebody was saying, like, oh, you give people bags and then they loft it. Somebody said that to me last night. I was out with my buddies here in Tallahassee, and they're talking about, yeah, well, once you pay people, then they just get lazy in the NBA. I'm like, not with the Raptors. No, you don't. It's almost like Masai says, well, if we give this guy the bag, will he just loaf? And no, they know that Pascal and Fred are not going to loaf once they get money. And that's the thing. Maybe that's part of how we'll decide who we give the big bags to in the next generation of guys like Precious, Scotty, Gary, OG, all these other guys is who's going to work at their highest level, even though they got paid big money and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's the thing, Gabe. If you're hungry, you need to be running just like these guys who already got paid. They're already kind of satiated with the money. Now, if you're hungry, you should be putting in that kind of effort. That's kind of what Draymond said, is what he was trying to say. Monique saying news and notes. Gabe Brown's brother raised him. Take that in for a moment. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when his dad died after a couple strokes and stuff like that, it was his brother that stepped in and was like the father figure for him and stuff like that. And that's good. He did a good job. He got him through college and stuff like that. And now he's got a chance to try and be on the Raptors for a good little, we'll see for some years now. So hopefully Gabe Brown will take it seriously, like Draymond told him, and get going. Let's go, Gabe Brown. Don't mess around. Just go out there and play your game and do what you do. Marlon Toby saying, I believe Mo is referring to Drake and LeBron James are part of a group of investors who are closing in on a deal to purchase the football team. Well, this would make sense because LeBron's big on ownership in sports right now. I mean, he's a part owner of the Boston Red Sox. He's a part owner of Manchester United. This is a big deal. These are big franchises. AC Milan, sure. And of course, Drake. Drake's been making so much money off gambling and betting on sports and stuff like that, betting on the Golden State Warriors this year to get out of the West and be in the finals. He got that one. He won like $1 million betting $100,000 on the Warriors to be in or something like that. So, yeah, of course, Drake's got all kinds of money. Go ahead. Go do it. Just buy all these teams and stuff like that. But once again, LeBron's his crown jewel, the team that he really wants to own is a Las Vegas expansion team in the NBA. That at some point they will put a team in Las Vegas and LeBron will be the owner. You're gonna hear me say that, and you're gonna see it come to fruition in the years to come. And so, but LeBron says something crazy this week. He's saying he's gonna play with Bryce too. He doesn't just want to play with Bronny, he wants to play with Bryce. So this man may be playing till like 45 or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. LeBron, if you can play till 45, you're going to break Kareem's record this year. But if you play till 45, you're going to make that record really hard to get to ever again. Because this is the way people thought for years about Kareem's record. There's no way anybody could get to where Kareem got to. He did that over 20 years at a very high level. Well, LeBron's going to do it. And it could be very much the same kind of thing. Nobody will ever get LeBron's career record for scoring. Well, maybe there will be somebody someday that is so crazy good for so long that they do it. So that's what I'm saying, because nobody thought anybody would do it to Kareem. And then I'll be like, you know what? LeBron probably is the greatest player of all time. And I hate to say it, but at that point, I might have to start saying, especially if he does get one more championship, which I don't think he will. I don't think the Lakers are anywhere close to it. And if he really just cares about playing with his sons, he's not going to get a championship with his sons. They may want to do it and have a dream thing happen like that. The NBA may be even try and orchestrate it, but that's not going to happen. I really don't see LeBron winning another championship in his career and stuff like that. So let's see. Thanks for the clarification, Marlon, also, in helping out with that. Isaac Campbell saying DJ Wilson scraps like Boucher on the boards. Yeah, he's up there. He's involved. This is the thing. I love the height. I love this offensive talent at that height. That's not always common, that a guy that size is okay shooter and has some good offensive skills like that. And that's something, that's what I'm saying. He's different than everybody else and stuff like that. David's saying, interesting. When I saw him, he looked like he was dodging bullets in the Matrix, but I like his vibe. Were you saying on like defense or something? He does look a little panicked. He does look a little frantic and stuff like that. But it's listen, I'm telling you, my eye test, and from what I'm seeing from Gabe Brown, I really think he's a good shooter and he's active. He's up and down the court. He's athletic and he's active. And those are really the things we want from a guy like him coming into our team. Let's see. Nameless is saying Drake is an Italian football supporter. That's his team he cheers for internationally, Italy. That makes sense. That totally makes sense, and stuff like that. Let's see. Isaac Campbell saying good info on Gabe Brown. Always insightful. Thanks, Isaac, and thanks again for the care package the other day and all this stuff. I realized I gave all the Bargnanis to everybody else, but you know what? I did keep the game worn jersey card and also a Sonny Weems signed card. But I was so nice to everybody. Gave all the Bargnani stuff to everybody else. But I love it. I love that David and Peter and Monique and Raymond Jacob, they got all, and Cowboy and Evelyn, they all got good cards and all kinds of crazy cards the other night. It was so fun. Such a good time. And we will definitely do another one next year for sure. Nameless is Dap and David. Bam, 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 bam. The trivia champion, David. What's up, Nameless? What's good? All right, Nameless is saying, glad to be here with y'all. The best Raptors discussions happen right here. Thanks, Nameless. I appreciate that. This is the thing. This is the time of year where people are trying to prognosticate. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen this season. And, a lot of people that are Raptors fans will listen to ESPN. They will listen to the U.S. media, and they don't get the right perspective because U.S. media ignores us. They're not going to give us any kind of kudos. I've looked at so many ESPN articles in the last month where they're trying to predict who's going to win awards, who's going to finish where, what's going to happen. This team is in this state of affairs and stuff like that. And it's all bullshit because they don't include the Raptors in anything on there at all. It's like we don't exist. So it's like what happens is our Raptor fans up here hear the NBA media and how they treat us, and they look down on us from the inside. And I ain't about that because we can go and have Raptors discussions with any Raptor fan, all these Raptor fans, and they can be very pessimistic. They could be like, last year, people were saying, oh, we're not even going to make the playoffs right now. They were saying that about our team. And I was like, well, we don't know how good Scotty's going to be. We don't know what's going to happen this year. I feel good about things. I was saying we could be fourth in the East. Well, we ended up fifth. So we were closer to what I thought than what a lot of the negative Raptor fans thought last year. And that's what I'm saying. This is the space for positive Raptor fans to talk up their team, to build them up, to encourage them, to support people like Svi Mahalik, even though it's like, it's a tough situation and it's sad. It's not a place to dump on him. He's a human being. It's not a place to dump on different players and things that have happened to them that are sad and stuff like that. This is a place to support and love our Raptors and really be a real fans of the team, not fans that are half-assed, like, oh, are they winning? How do they look on the standings? Then I'll pay attention to them and I'll be like all about them. When they're doing good, I'll feel good with them. But when they don't feel good, they're not doing good, then I'll disappear. And I'm like, I don't have anything to do with the Raptors. No, we're riding with them right on through every single part of everything with it. And I'm glad you're here, Nameless, because this is why, is what I just explained. is that, listen, we're not about building a bad future for our team. We're playing to win. We playing to win Larry O'Brien's. That's the whole thing about this organization. So that's why our fan nation gets their act together too and be on the same page with the whole franchise. Whether it's Masai Ujiri right on down to Jeff Doughton and Ron Harper Jr., these men are on a mission and we should be with them and not against them. And that's why I don't understand some of the Raptors people on Raptors Twitter or on online, people that make YouTube content. They get so negative and pessimistic about the Raptors, and they have no reason to be right now. They really don't. We have such a sunny forecast for our future and things that are happening for us. Some of the stuff I was talking about earlier, having the draft picks, having a young core, having young players like Precious and Scotty coming up within it also. There's so many good things about our team. And I love that you're here also, Nameless. Please just keep coming back. I promise you, every day I'm going to do content. I have a streak going, and I don't want to break it. I'm going to try and do content for decades. I'm not lying. I will do this Raptor Freaks channel right into the 2050s if I'm still alive. I will for sure. I promise you. David's saying, "Oh yeah, Isaac, that's was really cool. You sent those cards. Big contribution to the good times that night, and thanks to everyone on the live stream. Was lots of fun." David, you guys were a big part of it too. David and Peter Saborin are two of the best dudes I've ever met. I'm not gonna lie; they're so nice and generous people. And it was so nice to meet them. I told them that night, I was like, I feel like I just acquired two new brothers meeting David and Peter. And I'm serious. I want to hang out with you guys. You guys seem like really cool dudes, and we'll go do some fun stuff around Toronto. Go to games or watch games or stuff like that. Really, really was really honored and felt so nice to have people come to the meet and greet and hang out with us. And Isaac, your contribution was huge, and we really did appreciate it. Monique saying, avec bars, avec bars. I don't know what that. Are you speaking French? Lolita's saying Rico Hines is going global. He was contracted by Rwanda to be their players' development. What? Doesn't Masai also have basketball courts built in Rwanda through his foundation? Is it connected? I don't know if they're all connected. Actually, I don't know if what Rico's doing in Rwanda is actually with Toronto at all and stuff like that. These guys are all going over there in all different pockets and different places, whether Precious in Nigeria, whether it's Pascal in Cameroon recently. We have Rico Hines in Rwanda. And Masai's been over there in Nigeria also. So I think Masai's more in Nigeria, but he does go all over Africa because it is Giants of Africa. So he's in all the countries. And I think it was just Rico Hines runs. Like he's basically mimicking what he does at UCLA that he's been doing this month over there. It's the same template of things. He has young players in there and he's running them. He's just giving them the same kind of treatment as he would the people at UCLA. So it's cool. They are going global, and it's really good for Rico. I mean, I love the giving back. I'm telling you, we used to be where we'd see one guy go to Africa and do something over there. It would be like Mutombo. He'd go over there and do something in the summer, and that's it. Nobody else would go there, do anything. And then Masai started going there every year. And now we're seeing like 4 different Raptors people in our organization over there doing their own separate things over on that continent. And that is really, really great. That is fantastic. Because like I said, we see the effect of that coming up with people like Precious Achua and different people that have come from that continent and made it in the NBA and stuff like that, like Pascal Siakam, stuff like that. It's like the generations before, Mutombo, Serge Ibaka. And then you get to people like these guys now. Who knows what the next generations are coming up? Like I said, it's a very similar thing to Canada. Canada is a burgeoning place of new NBA talent to dip into getting good players. Well, it's going to become that more and more over in Africa because more and more guys are going to get discovered because they'll have more opportunity to be discovered because there's more feelers and reaching out and getting into places that probably people didn't even ever get to try and look for any kind of basketball players and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Everything that's happening over in Africa right now and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're connected. I think Rico's just doing his own personal thing. And he just wanted to do that there and stuff like that. So Isaac's saying the event looked like a lot of fun. Now you got to do one from a Raptors game now. Sorry I missed the first few minutes of the stream. I was out getting shoes for the kids. one picked basketball shoes. That's awesome. Yeah. Isaac's going to be out there playing some basketball with the kids and stuff like that. He's already out there by himself. You could get them kids out there with you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Isaac, and it was really nice of you to send that package. I had to edit that one video where I put the address on the camera and I took it out. And I appreciate people in the stream telling me to do that because that was smart. We didn't need Isaac and my address on YouTube so everybody could see it. David's saying, yeah, for sure, it's a plan. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Whether I don't know how we'll live stream in different things. I don't like live streaming during the games. It's more like let's just go and watch them, and then we'll talk about them the next day and stuff like that. We'll figure it out though. There'll be some changes and different kind of fun things we can do. Let's see. Yeah, it's a plan. And Isaac's giving a W to David. Very, very well earned. Nameless saying, can you get some merchandise, Lex? Maybe design a Raptors Freak hoodies or hats. This is actually funny that you meant this, bring this up, Nameless, because we talked about this in the very beginning. We're supposed to be making Raptor Freak hoodies because we kept talking about the Raptor Freak cult and we're all Raptor Freaks and we're in a cult, a crazy cult that believes in the positivity and the Raptors winning all the time, just winning, winning, winning. That's basically our cult. And I was going to get hoods so we could put the hoods up over and do like really weird ceremonies with an orb or something and start chanting things like, trust in Messiah, trust in Bobby, be great for, chant like monks, wear these hoods and stuff like that. I don't know. There is a development of it. It's kind of been stalled, but that has been something we talked about in the past. Hoodies specifically. It's kind of funny that you brought those up because that is what we actually were talking about. Getting like a nice decal, something weird, Raptor Freak or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know when it'll happen, but there is an intention to do this at some point. I said it would happen by the end of this year, but that's not going to happen. I'll tell you that right now. It won't happen this year and stuff like that. So, but there you go. Let's see. David's saying that would be awesome. Great idea, Nameless. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We did. There was early on. It was Raymond Jacob and some of the early on, very beginning people that were on the channel really wanted to get hoodies at that point, but we haven't really talked about it until today in like months. Evelyn saying Saborin Brothers and Nameless. I'll be the first to buy the merch. Awesome. Yeah, I know. Granny Evelyn's all about her merch. She's got the best bling. I'm telling you right now, Evelyn has the bling. The Raptors bling. I'm telling you, she showed up in such a fine, nice Tracy McGrady white dinosaur jersey on Friday night. I was like, yeah, she's got a McGrady jersey on. She is a long time Raptor fan, and I know this about Evelyn. It's awesome. But yeah, she's got the swag. I'm telling you right now, she has got the swag. Oh yeah. David's saying, "Oh, I know you will, Evelyn. You are the Raptors Freak goat." You're all goats. Come on, man. We're all out there in the field. We're all all right. Let's see. Okay, you and Mo. Everybody is. No, we all share it. That's right. We're an entity. This isn't like just me. This isn't just Mo. This isn't just Evelyn. This is an entity. We're like a big organism that has a whole bunch of little mitochondria inside it. Like you may be a mitochondria in the big organism that is called the Raptor Freak. Like we're an amalgamous, like 20, 30, 40, 50, 100-headed monster that extends around the world all over the place. That's what it is. That's what it is. We are an entity. All right, let's see. We could do our own version of Raptors Nightcap. That could be fun. I don't mind that idea. Like we watch the game and then afterwards we could just talk about it right after the game. Part of it is though, I really do like sleeping on the game. Like I like going to bed, kind of dreaming, and then in the morning, for some reason, I just have a better flow of what I want to talk about. Maybe I react too badly in emotion, kind of like what Nick Nurse does after a game. He says that. All right, he has this written in his contract. I don't know if you guys know this. He's divulged this summer when he was in Hungary, that when he signed his contract with the Raptors, he has it in his contract that nobody's allowed to talk to him about the game on game night after the game. That nobody can come to him. He can do the media scrum and talk to the reporters, and that's it. If anybody, a player, a person in the organization, anybody comes to him and starts wanting to talk about the game that night, he will tell them to fuck off because he doesn't want to react to whatever happened in the game, whether it's good or bad, with the emotion of that moment and stuff like that. And in some ways, that's part of the reason why I don't like doing content right after the game, is because sometimes I'll be really fucking pissed off and I may not be able to do it the right way because my emotions are clouding me or something like that. And I think it's funny that Nick has this clause. You can talk to him in the morning when he comes back in and the next day and he comes in, then he'll go to the video room, then he'll revisit the game and talk about it and stuff. It's really about not making it a bigger thing in your head by emotionally reacting to it, is what Nick Nurse is doing to it. It's like you can make a loss so much worse. If you're like, oh my gosh, you know how people are when they react to adversity, and they make it doubly worse just because of their reaction and how emotional and, oh, this is what he's avoiding. He realizes that it's an unnecessary feeling and suffering and all this kind of stuff. Just fucking turn it off. Don't look at it for the night, sleep on it, get up in the morning and tackle it afterwards. And I think it's brilliant. And that's part of the reason why I don't really do late night content after the game. Is because is that all right? Yeah. Oh yeah, Granny Evelyn. Let's go, Raptors. Yes, I love all this. Chanting like a monk or a medieval priest. Yeah, all this stuff. We want to freak people out. Maybe we'll come with all our hoods on and we'll go down to like City Hall and we'll stand in front of it with the golden orb and we'll be like, who are these people? What is this? Handmaid's Tale is filming today or something? They'll be like, because they do film Handmaid's Tale at the City Hall in Toronto. You guys know that. Some of these big scenes where they're all standing and stuff like that, that's in Toronto City Hall. So we'll go down there and maybe they'll think that they're filming another episode of The Handmaid's Tale or something like that. Because there's a bunch of people with hoods and an orb out there doing like incantations. You know, I would be doing that in the States heavy right now because there's all this thing about this war about freedom of religion. They want to put religion on blast in schools and stuff. Well, you better give equal time to everybody, because I love that there's some people in Texas that want to have satanic prayer at school because the people are trying to force Christian prayer in school in the United States. Well, equal opportunity for everybody. So let's go ahead and start doing this both ways in all kinds of different ways. I mean, anyway, I don't want to turn off any people. I'm not satanic. I'm just trying to say that, like, you know, if it's going to be that way, they better give an equal opportunity to everybody. Islam, Judaism, everybody. And not just focus on just Christian values and Christian morals and stuff like that, and force them on kids in public schools and stuff like that. It's really bad, really, really bad. All right, let's see. There's a lot of laughing. There's a Tom Duke Rebus. We got some shirts. Yeah, we got like 4 shirts. I'm guessing they should be hoodies. We got a dinosaur. We got some socks. I like the socks. And we got some money. So he said, Tom, you want me to make a Raptor Freak socks? Maybe we could do that. Lolita's saying, just like Champagne only wants to be playing with the Raptors, Durant also admitted that he wants to play with the Raptors at the beginning of his career. Yeah. Yeah, Durant could have played for us at some point. It may have happened this summer. I think that, you know what happened? I think this is what it is. I think that Danny Ainge and Sean Marks and these GMs got too greedy, that they really overvalued their superstars like Donovan Mitchell and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And they wanted to go get some insane packages from people. Like the New York package for Donovan Mitchell that's been announced in the last couple of days was very reasonable. And Danny Ainge is just a fucking idiot. Like he's not going to make it happen because I feel like it was a very good package for them. Well, it's not going to happen now because RJ Barrett's going to get that big bag now, and the Mitchell stuff is done. Mitchell's looking like he's going to be either, well, he won't be going to New York. Let's just put it that way. He could get traded still to another team, but he could very well, just because these guys are being too greedy, Sean Marks and Danny Ainge, they're not getting any deals moved. And you know what? The players may be more pissed off about it than anybody. Like that may be part of why Kevin's pissed off. He's like, I don't give a shit what you guys get back in Brooklyn. Just send me to Toronto. Please. Just send me to Toronto. What the fuck are you doing? No, don't ask for more first round picks. No, Sean Marks, you asshole. And then he's like, I can't work with these guys. Fire them or me. I got to either leave or they got to leave. That's really what I think happened with Durant. That he felt like in the process of them trying to trade him, that they couldn't get it done. He felt like they were incapable. And he's like, all right, fire them then. So it's so crazy. It is so crazy this whole summer with how the reality struck these superstars and maybe even these GMs who thought that they could fleece other teams for these guys. And they found out, nope. And now you just got this situation. Now, Donovan Mitchell has taken the Jazz off of his Twitter. He's taken off Utah Jazz guard off of his Twitter. So I don't know what that means, but he did it just in the last 2 or days or so. So Nameless is saying GRFAOAT, greatest Raptor freak of all time. The Graffote. Graffote. That's hilarious. It really comes off the tip of your tongue. Graffote. Let's see. We need a yearly Graffote award at the end of the year for this channel. Oh, that's not actually a bad idea. You know, we do have the Raptor Freak Trivia Champion, which is G from last season, but David is the current leader for this season. We could do maybe something like that. I could do an award, like a greatest Raptor Freak of the Year award. Maybe I should have done one at the end of the last year, but maybe we'll do it after every. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know. I like this idea. We could definitely do this. G saying, especially close games become personal, emotional. This is true. Like, seriously, if we lose a game that just pissed me off, like that Laker game in Toronto last year, the one where we shouldn't even gone to overtime, that Russell got the ball and he hit that crazy ass shot, and then they won on our court. I hated that fucking game so much. Like, that is not, or the game where we lost to Cleveland at the very last second after winning the whole game. That game pissed me off. Or the game that we played in Cleveland on Boxing Day that we should never play. That game pissed me off. There would have been maybe some weird diatribes that night if I had gone live right after the game and stuff like that. The things I would have been saying. Skater or Dylan. I like the change. So you're now Skate or Dylan. I like this. So, all right, I'm figuring that's your name. All right, let's see. You guys can cult up, smoke, sage, chant. It won't be anything compared to TD, Bank North Garden, Celtics forever. All right, I love this. You know, Skater Dylan or Skater Die has changed these different times, different flavors in here. Sometimes very, 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 very into the Raptors and so speaking very nice about the Raptors. Sometimes he's on that Celtics tip. And we got to remember, he's from New England and he is in Celtics Nation and stuff like that. Now, I want you to remember that even in your statement they put in there, it says TD. You know what that TD stands for? You know what that TD stands for, Skate? Come on, you know what that TD stands for. Do you know what it stands for? That T stands for Toronto. And that D stands for Dominion. And that is Toronto Dominion Bank. And that is the Toronto Dominion Bank, a bank that is centered in Toronto, owns your building. That's just the facts. I mean, we can say it in all kinds of ways. We own your building. And that's just the truth. It doesn't have anything to do with basketball, sure. Maybe we can own your building on the court also, but that is just the truth. You said it in there. Yeah, smoke sage. I love smoking sage. I'll tell you right now, I burn sage on every new moon and stuff like that. You got to clear that negative energy. Let new energy come in. Stuff like that. That's what sage does. It's also real good if you're nauseous. If you're feeling a little sick to your stomach, just breathe in some sage. It'll help you feel a little more good stuff like that. It helps you with a lot of things. Big believer in smudging. Big believer in it. Oh, yeah. Oh, looks like Chet's back. All right, let's see. Respect to Boston from Nameless and stuff like that. We'll see. I mean, this isn't good news about Gallinari. I'm going to tell you right now, this isn't good news about Gallinari. That he's supposed to be your real big acquisition. Malcolm Brogdon, that's a great pickup and stuff like that. But Gallinari, that was supposed to be something, stuff like that. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. Chet, the Iceman Holmgren, is back with us again. He was here a couple days ago. Good to see you again, Chet. Let's see what's going on with Chet. How far can Pelicans' big three of Zion, Ingram, and CJ take them this year? You know, I'm really big on the Pelicans. I like the Pelicans. I like them. You got to put JV in there, too. You got to talk about Jonas Valanciunas because he is a important part of this team. In fact, I kind of want them to trade Zion. I really do. I think that they could trade Zion and get some good other pieces that kind of fit better with them. I thought they were really good last year without Zion. And I think in a way, he might mess them up in some ways. Like, it's a weird thing. It was like, sure, he's super great and stuff like that. But sometimes those kind of things can kind of throw off the balance of how the team's been doing and stuff. So I think they'll be really good. I think Brandon Ingram is a very special young player. He's the closest thing to Kevin Durant after Kevin Durant in the league right now. And I read something about him recently that was really impressive. Like, I know this summer he's scraggly as hell. He's got a crazy ass beard and a crazy ass afro. And he looks like he's straight out of like a 70s movie right now. But there's some stuff that I learned about him last season about him and how he's a teammate with his team is really powerful. He's a really good leader on that team. Like, he looks out for all the guys on his team, and he, like, really seriously, like, he will spend a lot of time with his teammates in the hotel room after the games, doing a lot of tape and talking to his guys, bringing them up, building them up as a real leader on that team. So don't underestimate Brandon Ingram. In some ways, I think he may be one of the best young players in this league, and nobody talks about him enough. That he should be getting way more shine in some ways. I really do believe that. Now, CJ McCollum was a home run acquisition last year for them. And I really like his game. And I think they're good. I think they're real good. I think that they should be in the playoffs. They may only be a play-in team, but they should definitely be in the playoffs. Maybe like the very last playoff spot. It's going to be tough. The West is really stacked. I mean, if the Clippers are going to be better once again because Kawhi is actually playing this year, that's going to shake things up a bit. Like the Clippers being a way more serious team this year is going to shake things up. But I think the Pelicans will still be in there around somewhere. They could be anywhere from 7 to 10, somewhere in there. They could be out of or 6 to 10. I'll say the last playoff spot all the way to anywhere in the play-in and stuff like that. So David's saying they may make the play-in. Zion is a big question mark in my opinion. He really is. I don't have that much confidence in him. Like, how much has he played? He's been hurt his whole NBA career for the most part. And last year was really weird. There was some weird stuff going on where he left the team. It was a little shady why he was missing last year and stuff like that. I'm not bought in on him being so good and great. I'm not on the hype train about Zion Williamson like a lot of people are. He is really the kind of player kind of like Ben Simmons that the NBA media machine is really pushing down our throats. And I don't know if it's totally warranted. I know he has some crazy highlights in high school and he did all this crazy stuff. But to me, that doesn't mean jack shit. I want to see him do it on the court. And same thing for you, Chet. You can be all badass and look good in different levels of basketball. But if you can't play at the physicality level of the NBA, I don't give a shit how great your offense or how you look and stuff like that. It has to translate. It has to be real on a real court and stuff like that. So Nameless saying Pelicans are going to be a threat real soon, brother. Yeah, they're an up-and-coming team. In fact, I've likened them to us, that they're not that far off from being somebody who can really, really compete. Detroit's another team that has some really nasty stuff coming up with now. Stuff like that. Detroit and New Orleans, similar in a lot of ways. Click's laughing. We own your building. I just had to say that. I mean, it's legally true. Why don't y'all spell it all out on your court? You could put Toronto Dominion Center on there. Just put the whole thing out there. Just put our name on your court. Why not? Because it's in your court's name. Stuff like that. Skater Dylan saying, I did not know that. Why do I always get schooled by Raptors? This is hilarious. It's not, listen, man, if this is school, it's fine. I'm a benevolent teacher. I'll let you down easy. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I don't want to insult you or anything, but that is a funny reaction and stuff like that. It's hilarious. You do have 17 championships, though. I had to give Boston that. But we had this thought exercise recently. It was like, what if the Raptors had started in the league the same time as the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks, and they never left the league, and we had been in the league from the very beginning all the way till now, and we were still the Toronto Huskies? How many championships could the Toronto Huskies have won over 75 years of the NBA? Who knows? How many of those would we have gotten? Could we have 4 or 5 championships already by now? Who knows? Bill Russell was a big part of a lot of those championships you're talking about right there. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Click saying 17 chips. 16 of those happened 50 years ago. Laughing my ass off. That's right. Click. Thank you. Reality checks hit hard here. As much as we're positive, beautiful nation for the Raptors and making it sunny for us, we will make it stormy and cloudy for every other fan nation. That's right. That's right. We will rain on your parade, just like what Click just did here. Yeah, 16 of those happened when what? How many teams were in the league at that point? Come on, man. How many teams were in the league at that point? And there was some weird stuff going on with Red Auerbach. I'm going to tell you right now. He's doing some weird stuff in Boston to make sure his team wins and stuff like that. I mean, there's still people complaining about the visitor locker room in Boston, that it is shit. Teams come there and it's awful. It's worse than high school gym locker rooms, shit like that. That's what I'm saying. So they build in advantages for that team in different ways. They do. The leprechaun lives at Boston. And it's not like a leprechaun. It's just all the fuckery that Boston Nation puts in front of the opponent in different ways, whether it's turning the heat off in their visitor locker room or, calling bomb threats in the visitors' hotel and stuff like that. That kind of stuff goes on like crazy in Boston. Still does to this day. I'm not lying. This has not gone away. It's just part of going to Boston. Lolita saying, one thing I love about this chat is that all can say what's on their mind and it will be discussed. You can agree or disagree, but respected all views. Thanks to all. Yeah, this is really important part of this channel. Is like I read every single comment. I don't want anybody not to get heard. This is very much like the documentary that Monique told me to watch, Crip Camp. It's like when they have their meetings, the lady who runs the meetings was like, every single person here gets to say what's on their mind and will be heard. We want everybody to know that their opinions are valued and important. And that is really an important part of this channel. It's like, we may go other places and, you may not get a chance to say what you want to say on different things or even in comments or stuff like that. Here, it's everybody and you are allowed to do it. And we will, yeah, we may not always agree, but at least we're doing it in a mature, civil way where we can get along and to agree to disagree and stuff like that. But a lot of times we're on the same page and stuff like that. And I really appreciate that y'all find value in my views and what I'm seeing and stuff like that. That really means a lot to me because a lot of people could be like, oh, this guy's just fucking stupid. He's just like too optimistic and always too like positive about the Raptors. He should be more realistic about how bad they are. And I'm like, I've been dealing with Raptor fans like that for most of the history of the Raptors. It was so hard to be a positive Raptor fan in the 90s. So hard to be a positive Raptor fan during the Bosch era in the late 2000s after Vince left. People would want to shit on us every different which way, including our own fans. So I would get in fights with our own fans. So it's like, I was like, come on, let's believe, let's be positive and stuff like that. So let's see. Monique saying, congratulations, Serge Ibaka, on his music, Avec Bars. That's what she meant when she said Avec Bars. That's the name of his album, Avec Bars, with bars. Does he mean like the bars he's spitting or the bars he's sitting in drinking? I don't know. Serge Ibaka is the man. He just surpassed Dame Dalla, Damian Lillard for most streams or for an NBA player in all of the NBA. So he just beat Lillard. That is awesome. Okay, it sounds like the moving crew's starting to show up. So I might have to go and clock in and start putting some muscle on some boxes, guys. But yeah, I'm so proud of Serge. I want to see his new videos. I know they'll be coming out. So I'm going to go through this stuff real quick. Nameless saying, I didn't know either. Yeah, go check out Serge's music. It's Afrobeat. It's good stuff. He's been making music for years now. So it's not like he's new to the game. He does actually make a smooth kind of groove. And he's, I don't really know if he sings. It's more like he's rapping a little bit, doing bars, and maybe there's a little bit of melody singing with it, but not really. And he has guests that are really talented singers or rappers, and they'll come in and they'll do some half of the song, and then he'll do like one little part. There's a lot of how his songs are. Skater Dylan saying, numbers are numbers, click. Dame for Zion, straight up. I don't mind that deal. I think that deal actually does really work for both sides because honestly, that's crazy because you reunite Lillard with McCollum and Zion might look really good in Portland in different ways. So I don't mind that deal at all, Celtics fan. Lolita's saying this year's Raptors final team standing. It's my wish. It's my bucket list. Go Raptors. Yeah, I want us to win the championship this year. I was in a bar a couple nights ago, not drinking. I was just there at my old bar that I used to hang out in university when I went to Florida State with my old buddies. And I went up to the bartender. I was wearing the shirt that Evelyn gave me, the champion shirt that Evelyn gave me last Friday. And the guy said, I've never seen a Raptors championship shirt in this bar ever. And I said, yeah, well, we're going to come and get this one this year. And he said, are you drinking? You're cut off. He told me I was cut off when I told him the Raptors are going to win a championship this year. And I said, well, I'm not even drinking. So you go ahead. You cut me off. I'll cut off my ginger ale for the night. But yeah, it really is like that, the perception of it. And the guy was saying, this team and this team's going to be really good. But I really like your team. Scotty Barnes, they're talking about Scotty Barnes, obviously, because it's Florida State, Tallahassee. And there are a lot of Scotty Barnes fans down here. In fact, I've been talking a lot about Scotty Barnes in the last couple of days, just because people here don't even know about him being on Twitch and stuff like that. It's really fun. Let's see. Nameless saying, laugh out loud. Zero estimating by that inaugural Huskies season. I don't know. Yeah, by that first year, but come on, man. That first year, like some of the people have said on this channel, that's hockey submarine the NBA in Toronto right away. And that was part of the reason why the Huskies only survived one season. You can't go by 1 year. You don't know how good we could have been, like in the 60s or the 50s or the 70s and stuff like that. We could have gotten some championships already. And so we'll never know. But we can't extrapolate just from one season of Toronto Huskies basketball in 1946, 47. So we don't know how the team could have changed over the years and stuff like that. Monique saying Koloko is Pascal in 3 years. I called it. Whoa, you think he's going to be as good as Pascal? That's incredible. That's amazing. If he can be like him on offense at that size, that is crazy. That is actually what they want Chet Holmgren to be, something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind this, Monique, because I don't know if it's realistic. But I think that Koloko is going to be very much himself and do some very, very special things for our team. I'm really excited about it. I was telling my buddy last night about him. I was like, yeah, he's from Arizona. He's 7'1" or 7'2", and he's just like a stick man. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys got a center now? He's like, ooh. He was a little worried because he's a Milwaukee Bucks fan. He's from Wisconsin, and he's really, really into the Bucks. And I was like talking about Koloko, and he's like, he's sweating. He was sweating because I was talking about Koloko to him. It's hilarious. Nameless saying they wanted to retain the name Toronto Huskies back in '95 originally, but the logo looked too similar to Minnesota, so they chose Raptors. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Huskies and Timberwolves are a little too similar and stuff like that. They could have brought back Huskies. I don't think it would have worked at the time. The names that they had that I liked were the Raptors and that whole connection that way. Okay, it looks like my connection's unstable. So, and they, like I said, there's people here, and I'm going to have to get going. Let's see. Monique St. Serge speaks French. That's right. David S. is predicting an 82-0 season. Let's get it. I love it. And I'm going to stand on that limb with you, Monique. Yeah. All right. So she Nameless is with Monique as far as like Koloko will be like Siakam in 3 years. I like that. Love from the Celtics. All right. I guess the love back to the Celtics, dude. Just a little bit, not too much. Respect. How about that? All right, guys. Gabe Brown looks real good. He has the right frame. He has a nice shot. He could make the rotation for the Raptors in the next 3 years. He looks like that kind of guy. All right, I will be back tomorrow in the morning still. I think I'll be doing a regular Thursday think tank tomorrow. It may be a little bit shorter just because we are getting real busy and I have to get that U-Haul filled up with everything that's in this house and stuff like that. So let's go, Raptor freaking go. Tom Duke saying that. See you 4 times next season. Yeah, we'll see you guys 2 times at the very end of the season. We get to play both our games at Toronto Dominion Center right at the end of the season. The last 3 games of the season, Boston at Boston, Boston at Boston, and then Milwaukee and Toronto. And so we'll see 2 of them right at the end. Let's see. Lolita saying, well, 2 and 80, maybe. I don't like that, Lolita. G saying, luck with the move. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's thanks, David. Yeah, it's gonna be it's been something. It's hot down here. It's very humid. It's a lot of work. It's on like Donkey Kong, skate or die. Bam, 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 bam. All right, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, please. We're getting some good gains in the last week or so. It's the middle of August. Nobody should be talking about basketball right now, but you guys are coming, and I love that. I love that so much. All right, once again, let's stay positive about the team. Let's get outside, touch grass, share love, like Scotty would say, and let's go.